When I first found out I was pregnant, I was terrified. I pretty much ignored it for a little while because I was like, that can't be right. And then eventually I was like, well, I kind of have to face it. I was 19. I was in my second year of university, away from home, 6 hours from home. And I was having so much fun. I went home the next day to tell my boyfriend, who was still 6 hours away. And I showed him the test, and he was just like, what? There's no way. And we just kind of both sat there in silence, like we had no idea what to do. He was also in college at home, and so he was just kind of also doing his own thing. And I was really worried about taking that away from him as well. Not just what I would be losing, but what I would be taking away from him. I was considering abortion just because for a multitude of reasons. Most of the reasons were just being pretty selfish. I didn't want my life to change at all. I didn't want to add anything extra that I had to do. And I didn't want to tell my parents. I knew my parents were going to be pretty upset with me. My mom had me when she was 18, and I knew she never wanted that for me. And so I started Googling just what my options were, and I did search different things for Planned Parenthood, different routes to have an abortion if that were my choice. And I started looking up resource centers I could go to. I came home from college and I found the Rockwall Pregnancy Resource Center, and I gave them a call. I went in and we waited, and then the first room we went in was kind of more like a little counseling area, and I was talked to by someone who told me their life testimony, and she never tried to sway me one way or the other. And then we moved into, I want to say, having a sonogram, and so we did that. And then the nurse who was doing my sonogram said, I'll be right back. And she left the room, and I was looking at the screen and I was like, that looks like there's 2 on there. I was so shocked. I didn't know what to do. I just started crying. And the nurse hugged me. Everyone was congratulating me. And at that time, I was like, this isn't something to congratulate me for. I still felt really upset. I was ashamed almost. But at that time, I was like, this is a good thing. I was like, this is happy. And for the first time, I felt like this is something to celebrate. My twins, Ava and Isla, were born on June 16th, 2020. They were 16 weeks early. It was about 9:30 at night. They rushed me down to the OR, and I was begging them. I said, don't take me, don't take me. I said, they're too little. I said, they're not gonna live, they're too little. And they're like, we have to. Pretty soon, right before we went into the OR, my doctor told me, she said, baby A has less than a 50% chance. They said baby B, she said, you can choose whether you want to hold her when she dies, or we'll take her out of the room. It was pretty quick because they were trying to get them out very quickly. Ava, I heard the teeniest little cry. It sounded like a kitten. It was so little. And they said baby A is out. And then Isla, she was about 4 weeks behind in growth. And so that's why they really didn't think she was gonna survive. And so they said baby B is out, and I didn't hear anything. And I was waiting to hear them start chest compressions on her, and I didn't hear anything. And so I was like, she's not alive. And then all of a sudden they said, look to your right, there's 2 babies. And they were rolling them out of the room. And I was like, alive? And they're they're breathing. And I saw the tiniest little things that you could ever imagine. They were only about 10 inches long. And I just got to put my little finger in there and hold their whole hand didn't even wrap around my pinky. Ava was in the NICU for 138 days, and Isla was in the NICU for 148 days. The girls are now 2 years old. They just started preschool. They've loved making new friends. This is a lot of things that we were told that they likely wouldn't be able to do. I was recently able to graduate 2 weeks ago. I graduated magna cum laude. I graduated with honors, still at Texas Tech University, and I'm now living my lifelong dream of being a teacher. About a year and a half after I visited the center, I was just sitting with my girls and I was just thinking about how beautiful they are and like how beautiful my life was. And I was just thinking, I just kept going back to the resource center and thinking like that this is where this all started. And just thinking how big of a role that they had in their life. I had to like get through to someone just to send a thank you for, not for my girls, but for being the people that just really helped me come to terms with celebrating just their whole existence. If I had not gone to the resource center with my boyfriend, I'm not quite sure where I would be sitting today. If I had not visited the Pregnancy Resource Center, I don't know if I would have two sweet little heads to kiss goodnight at the end of the day.